Hello Enchanted Ones, and welcome back to another video. Today I will be bringing you along with me to show you my spiritual summer evening routine, full of self-love, care, and at the moment to make the most of the summer energies in the air. So I hope you enjoy, relax, and keep on watching. Arriving home after a long day is the most satisfying feeling, and tonight I was so excited as I planned a rather special evening that I try and do a couple of times a week, a spiritual evening. First thing I do when I arrive home is to change out of my working clothes. At the moment I love wearing my leggings over a flouncy skirt. It gives me all the warmth and coziness I need for the British summer weather, along with the ability to spin and feel magical, becoming my best fairy self. Next, I set the vibe by putting my diffuser on, and tonight I chose a sandalwood scent, pet friendly but also to help ground me after a long day. I then started to put the dinner on, and tonight I am making a stir fry. Quick and easy. Whilst it cooks, I usually do a general tidy up around the home so I can get everything ready for the next day. Nothing big, just small things that make a big difference. I also watch my favourite YouTubers whilst setting the table. I love making stir fries, especially on a spiritual evening. They are so quick to make. The array of colours from the vegetables fuel me with so much energy and focus. And after dinner, everything seems a little go, go, go. This is because I like to get things ready for the next day, so I will not have to cut my spiritual evening short. I even go as far as setting out my outfit for the next day, as it is always a huge task for me to decide in the morning. Then, I take a quick mindful check of my phone, replying to any messages I have without being mindless and scrolling, which I'm particularly good at doing most nights, but not tonight. I set it aside for the next few hours, out of sight and out of mind. I then took a big, deep breath, and it was time to begin. As it was such a lovely evening, I decided to sit outside tonight. I got out blankets and cushions and made a cozy nook in my garden. And to begin the evening, I made myself a nice refreshment using sun water. In the summer, I'm always making sun water. I leave multiple containers in a sunny spot all day, and this takes on board the sun's energizing properties, and I really take advantage of its energy as much as I can during these long summer days. The first thing I made with it tonight was sun tea. To make this, I simply heat the water in a saucepan, and each night I add to it different concoctions to see if they work together. Today I had an orange on hand, so I sliced it up, but I fancied experimenting, so I got a few sprigs of thyme to hope it would be a nice combination. I also added a bit of honey to sweeten it up, which is optional, and left it to brew for about 5 minutes. Each day I like to experiment with something different, as I like coming up with new flavour combinations, and today I can tell you that orange and thyme sun tea is a success. It was a great blend of sweet and earthiness. At this point, I usually just take the first half an hour or so to chill and do whatever comes naturally or provokes my attention. I sometimes sit and stare into space. I watch the wildlife, noticing the little things around me. Or wander around the garden, taking in the new flowers of the day. I truly consider this to be a form of meditation. and a time to unwind and let the fast-paced day drift away. I also love to do simple yet satisfying jobs in the garden, such as deadhead any of the flowers, which I leave as offerings for, of course, the fairies. And take the time to consider nature by watering the flowers, filling up the bird bath, and filling the seeds up for the animals to enjoy in the morning. But in no time at all, my friend Woody, the wood pigeon, was back enjoying his evening meal. In the past, I've completely forgotten about the beauty of these long nights, as all I'm looking forward to is autumn. But this year, I am trying my best to make a true effort to be more present with the energy of summer. And for me, this half an hour really grounds me to nature and the energy of summer. After I feel relaxed and calm, I take a little time to do a bit of gentle studying. This is considerably gentle, as I do not do much. I love to make cards in which I keep in this box on different things that draw themselves out to me. And today, as I put time in my sun tea, I did a little research upon this. I don't pressure myself to study new things all the time, but during the summer months, there are so many new flowers and herbs that arise. I love learning little bits at a time. I found out that thyme is detoxifying and can help to cleanse. But also it is great to help with the third eye chakra, which oversees our intuition and can help with divination, something I was definitely going to do later on. After my little study session, it was starting to get a little chilly. I still wanted to make the most of the evening outside, so instead of being at my altar inside, which I would usually do in the winter months, I made an outside altar using these 2 glass containers which were full of sun water, and I thought it would be great to be surrounded by this energy. Into these containers I placed a few drops of lemon eucalyptus oil. This is a great oil to use to cleanse the immediate area, but also as a natural deterrent for insects like mosquitoes to stay at bay. And I love the magical look of these floating candles. Whilst waiting for the night to set in, I did a few 5-minute crafts. These are crafts that are so easy to do, yet so satisfying, and it can take a lot longer than 5 minutes if you just want to chill and take your time. The first DIY is something I've been doing a lot lately, and that is bringing summer life inside as decorations. I have these 2 pictures on the wall that currently have winter pictures in them. So I needed to change that for starters. When I'm on my walks at the moment, I'm collecting and pressing little pieces of summer I find, like ferns and oak leaves, things from summer that I dearly miss in the winter. So I wanted to make a picture out of these. I first stained card with a tea bag, creating a nice vintage look, and then arranged my pressed leaves. To stick these on, I created a very simple paste, 1 teaspoon of flour and equal to that of water, and a pinch of salt to preserve it. Mix this all together and you will have a very simple glue. I stuck my leaves down one by one and wrote a little message on the bottom of each picture as to where the leaves came from. for a nice memory to look back on in the depths of winter. Along with decorating my home with the nature, I also like creating things that I can use with nature. And I have an absolute crazy herb garden that is growing at a rapid pace at the moment. So my plan was to make a smudge stick. For this, I snipped a long stalk of sage to act as the base for my smudge stick. Sage is best known for its purifying, cleansing qualities. Also, some lavender to help calm and relax. And because I just found about its detoxing properties, I cut some more thyme. A smudge stick is quite easy to make, but a bit fiddly. I first aligned the stalks of the sage and lavender together and tied a piece of cotton string around this a few times. I twisted the string around the bunch, but as I did this, added more lavender and thyme, making sure that the string was tight, but also that there were no herbs sticking out, so that when they dry, they will all mold together to be safe whilst smudging. Once I reached the top, I continued wrapping the string down the stick in a crisscross shape and tied both pieces of string at the bottom together. And again, after 5 minutes, my craft was complete. I hung this in a dark, cool place, and just as I was finished with my crafts, the sun was beginning to set. I love the feeling and energy of the sunset, and I have come accustomed to being a little fly on the wall each evening, watching the sky and nature fall asleep. I love how each day is different, and it is exciting for me to see what each day has to offer. The birds truly come alive knowing it is time to settle down, and sometimes on a very blessed night, the sky is literally a work of art whilst it goes through the stages of the sunset. I love these little moments, as well as seeing my garden lights come on one by one and seeing the blue sky get darker and darker. And it is this transitional moment where the energies are crossing from day to night where I love to do a little bit of divination. And today, as you are joining me, I wanted to do something a little special. Wax divination using coloured candles, but also pressed flowers from my garden. This is something that perhaps I've made up, but I love it so much. It is all about intuition, picking candles that you are drawn to, picking flowers you are drawn to, and placing them on a piece of paper in a way that is entirely pleasing to you, lighting the candles one by one and dripping them over the paper, letting your hand take it wherever it pleases, not worrying about mistakes, as there are never any mistakes here. It's simply your intuition taking over and sending you a message to perhaps a question you want to be answered, but a question isn't necessary if you don't want it to be. Before I started this ritual, I asked a question, and I asked, what does this next week hold for me? And on completion of the picture, I immediately saw 3 birds. A quick look to see what the bird symbolized, and to my surprise, it meant good luck was on the horizon. I also researched the colors of the candles to see what each color meant, and from this I got a clear picture and understanding of what was to come. One day I will have to make a video detailing this process a lot more, but overall it is a lovely way to receive a message using the flowers of summer and the energy from the candles. After this, it was getting quite late, so I packed up my things and went inside. And every night, my boy Charlie is always eager to stay outside. One thing I never do is turn on the main lights in my home. I love the ambience of soft lighting, making me feel calm and relaxed and connected with the night. Basically, I would rather struggle to see than see at all when it's nighttime. I then got into my pajamas and started my incredibly simple skin routine by first taking off my makeup. I think it's important to remember at times, less is more. Sometimes I use aloe vera on my skin, sometimes cinnamon and honey, but tonight I wanted to keep it simple with warm water. Laying this warm towel upon my face, cleansing the negativity away, and its weight makes me feel calm and cared for. It is like you are receiving a lovely warm hug. I could do this all day. After this, in summer, I always spritz my face with rose water, as this is so beneficial for skin. But tonight, I run out. I leisurely stroll downstairs to make some more, and as a last thing before bed, I find this process utterly therapeutic. Whilst heating hot water from the kettle, I plucked rose petals into a jug. These roses are not treated and were picked straight from the garden in the morning, as this is when they are most fragrant. Once the kettle boiled, I simply poured it on top and stirred. And whilst I stirred it, I watched the rose petals go round and round, gradually losing their red colour, but the water taking on this colour and its beautiful pink pigment. I allowed this to get cold, and whilst I did, I wandered around the house, still often away from my phone. There is something about being the last person downstairs, which I love. The darkness, the quietness. It's a lovely time for contemplation or gratefulness. It may sound silly, but I just love walking around and simply looking at what I've got and achieved, what I've done, and it makes me feel so present and whole. Once the rose water was cool, I placed it within a tinted glass container. The tinted glass will help preserve the colour. And it was upstairs to do my last skin ritual. Spritzing the rose water onto my face. I love doing this so much before bed, in the morning, and throughout the day when perhaps I need a little pick-me-up. Before I go to bed, I have one more mindful check of my phone, usually to find I have no messages, so really I have not missed out on anything. But I set my alarms and go into my bedroom. One thing I have done for years, and it may be an unpopular opinion, but I love to keep my curtains open as our house backs onto woodland. I love that the last thing I see before I go to sleep are the silhouettes of the trees. But before I got into bed, I did a few gentle stretches to rid any unwanted energy before my beauty sleep. And as a soundtrack to this, I listened to nothing but the movements of the sheets and my boyfriend playing his game, which for once had a lovely ambience tonight. When I eventually get into bed, I usually fall asleep straight away. But when I have a little more energy in me, I will read a short story from a folklore book. They are forever inspiring me about my own personal experiences within the woods and how I would turn them into stories. Stories I turn into my videos for you all. The last thing I do, and have been doing for 10 years now, is listen to my favourite ASMR videos. The sounds are so soft and relaxing, and I'm off to sleep in minutes. Thank you for joining and coming along with me during my spiritual summer evening routine, Enchanted Ones. It has been so fun having you with me here tonight. These spiritual evenings mean so much to me, as do all evenings. Sometimes I'll be productive like tonight, but sometimes I just want to crawl up and watch Netflix. So my last tip of the night is whatever you do with your evenings, do it to make yourself happy, because you deserve it and owe it to yourself, even if you've had the most toughest of days. A gentle warm towel to the face can help cleanse anyone's troubles away. All my love, Alwyn.